right at 9 o'clock. And I did that video in our team page last night, just with all the announcements, like about our upcoming groups and trainings and stuff like that. And so I want you guys to go back and watch that. I'm going to send you an email as well this weekend just about everything that's coming up. It's a little bit crazy, I know, but there's so much good stuff. And one thing I want you guys to really know is, like, just because I'm running a 3-day refresh and a 7-day link week and, doing the action based, the green light district, like all those things, it doesn't mean you have to do all of it. Find one thing that you want to focus on and invite to, and really just grab home, and then let that be the thing that you focus on. So, I know there's so much to look at and to be a part of, but focus on your success club, your business activity tracker, and just don't let yourself get overwhelmed by all that, like I'm doing or somebody else is doing. Good morning, Mel. How are you? Okay, so I'm going to manage you guys just because loud. And you can unmute yourself if you want to, or type in the chat bar for Melanie. But I'm going to go ahead and get started because Melanie has a soccer, I think, to get to. But thank you so much, guys, for showing up this morning. Melanie, I don't really have to introduce her, I don't think, but I will. She has been a coach for 7 years now. And for those years, she has been the top coach, the top team. She is, I don't even know her rank. I know she's like super, super, super. But I'm just really, really, really honored to one, to get to ask her to come and do this, but to also call her my coach, because my life has been changed because she works her business. And I was telling her that this week as I was sitting in car line getting to pick up my boys, and I could cry. I'm a hot mess today, but she just did her job. Like, she did her job, and she loves what she does, and she's committed to doing the little things every day that just aren't fun, aren't sexy, and just that's how she's gotten to where she's at. And so she's going to talk to you guys today, share a little bit about her story, about how she's gotten to where she is, and like what she wants to encourage you guys, like, to finish strong, finish October strong, finish the year strong, and just share some encouragement with you. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Mel. Go ahead. We're already recording.
Awesome. Well, good morning, guys. I am bundled up because it is like 38 degrees here, and I'm about to go sit outside for a soccer game. And so I'm not excited about it at all, but it's the last one. So I'm so excited to be done. But anyways, as I was sitting here and kind of preparing for what I wanted to share with you guys, I just thought, you know what? I know that our business and what we do really makes an impact and is so important. But I also know that it is not the easiest job in the world, right? Like, changing somebody's mindset when it comes to the way they look at food, the way they look at exercise. There's so many emotional components that go into what we do. And I can remember when I started my business, just like how excited I was to start sharing with other people, to put it out there, because I was ready to make a change. But I can remember everybody else not being so excited about it. So I kind of want to, and I don't know if any of you are sort of like feeling that way. You're like, why don't people understand like how awesome this is? Why don't they want to get on board? And so, I just want to come from a place of like, hey, this is really what my business looked like, where you guys are at right now. So is anybody like just a couple of months in, like 3 to 6 months in? Okay, so okay, good. All right, so I signed up to be a coach in July of 2011, right? So if I were kind of rewind back to where you're at right now, I was only a couple of months into the business. Now, we see all of these people that like skyrocket to the top. They hit SC10 their first month. They are like diamond in 21 days. That was not me at all. All right. I was the girl that had zero warm market. I had no family members that supported me in what I was doing. I didn't have an Instagram account. I had like a super tiny Facebook account. And so I was that person that was a slow starter. So, you know, you might see all of these accolades now and 4-time top coach, but I want you to know I had a really rough start to my business. All right. And so I didn't hit Success Club the first month as a coach. We did not have challenge packs when I signed up. We didn't have a training system to go into. My upline had only been a coach for a month or 2 months before. So we were all brand new when we started. And so I can just remember that I had this passion and desire to build a business. I had this vision for where I wanted to be, but Mac didn't support me. I had no support from him whatsoever. I had a 6-month-old and a 2.5-year-old. I was at home all day by myself. You know, nobody else around me kind of got what I was doing, and I was still on my fitness journey. So, you know, I was trying to manage being a wife and a mom and clean my house and do laundry and play with the kids and go through my personal transformation and build a business. So I was like, it was a hot mess. It wasn't pretty. It was not like glamorous whatsoever, but I can say that in my mind, I didn't have big goals or big dreams either. I literally was like, if I can help one person change their life, then it would be worth it. And that was sort of my why when I started coaching, because I myself fell in love with challenge groups. And when I put my side by side together, and I launched my business, it took me like 20 minutes with my hand on that enter button to press enter because I was so nervous. I started to overthink it. I was like, oh my gosh, my old boss, my old employees that worked for me when I worked full time, they're going to see this. And I started to like overthink all the people from high school and college that were going to see how bad I looked now, right? Because I cared about what other people thought of me. And I can just remember thinking, you have to be courageous, Melanie, just hit send. And I just hit send. And I do remember walking away for a little bit. And then it popped back in my mind, like, you can't post and walk away. You have to comment on every single person's post. So I remember coming back to my kitchen table and sitting down, and there was this flood of comments, right? People were like, good job, you know, and I had posted my transformation and it was 10 pounds. I'd lost 10 out of the 30 that I lost. So it was sort of like a partial transformation story, right? And so people were like, congratulations, how did you do it? Sign me up, tell me more, you're so motivating. And I remember sitting there going, oh my gosh, this can be so easy, you know, and sending all of these private messages to everybody that was commenting. And what happened to me is one after the next, it was like, oh, I don't drink a shake, or, oh, I like to eat my food, or I buy something similar at GNC. I won't do Shakeology, or I do CrossFit, because that was really big when I started. I don't work out from home. I go to the gym. And so I had all like, you know, 10, 15 comments on this photo. And then at the end of 3 hours of all this time I spent going back and forth and telling people what I was doing, people saying, oh yeah, I have, you know, Insanity, or I have 21 Day Fix in my drawer. I had no sales. And so my balloon of excitement that was like totally like, you know, ready to rock this business now was like this shriveled up balloon because I was deflated, right? And so I know that some of you have been through that. And even that might have been the beginning of your business, right? Was you were like, this is going to be so easy. I'm going to nail this. And then it totally just doesn't work out the way you anticipated. And that's normal. And I can remember thinking, okay, this is going to be hard. And so I thought to myself, but I'm not going to let that discourage me because I know it works. And then my thought process was, how do I build trust with these people, right? So I'm obviously going to foster the relationships of people that are interested, but I need to build trust with them. And so my mind just instantly went into, what can I create? What can I share? What can I show on my social media to show them like, okay, you can go do your Weight Watchers, you can go drink your GNC shake, but I'm not going to put that down, but I'm going to show up consistently. And when you maybe fall off the wagon, or when you maybe lose your motivation, or when you hit a plateau with something else, I want to be the person that you come back to. I want to be that consistent voice. And so in my mind, it was like, I'm going to develop trust and consistency, and I'm going to show them that I'm in this for the long haul, and this isn't a quick fix for me. So in my mind, that's where I went. And I believe that a big part of my success is my ability to look at things in an optimistic light. I never looked at the lack of people that actually signed up with me from that first post and said, oh, that's it. I'm doomed. I'm done. I'm bad at this. I'll never be successful. I just thought, what do I need to do to get people to trust me? I also realized that it takes us longer than we think, like longer than we think to be successful at what we want to do. So we always wildly underestimate the length of time that it's going to take us to reach our goals. And if you just know that going in, and you're patient with it, but you're persistent at the right activities, it will happen. And so my mindset and what I want to encourage you guys is where you're at right now is to say to yourself, do you believe that your future situation can be better than the current situation that you're in right now? So for me, right, when I started coaching, I was like, okay, I knew that Matt and I were fighting over money. I knew that the holidays were coming, right? So, here we are, it's October, the holidays are coming. And so let me kind of back up. I didn't hit Success Club my first month, but I hit 5 the second month, and I remember getting to Emerald. My third month as a coach, I hit Success Club 10. And then every month after that, it was 10 plus. And I refused to settle for anything less because I believed that if I worked hard, that I had the power to change the future for my family. I believed that if I could earn $500 at Christmas time, right, it would significantly change our family's holiday. And when I say that, I set these like very small, tangible goals for myself, right? It wasn't like top coach, elite, premier, star diamond. It was $500 would change my family's holiday. Matt and I would be able to wake up on Christmas morning and look at the presents underneath of that tree and not have to stress about, oh my gosh, we're going to have to pay all of this back off of our credit card in January, right? Because that is what we did before. And you could see the stress on Matt's face. And he didn't enjoy himself. And then I didn't enjoy myself in January because we argued about what did you buy for $5.25 at Target because it popped up on the debit card, right? And I hated that like constant fighting. And so I set a tangible goal in October and I said to Matt, I'm going to earn $500. That's our budget for our Christmas presents. And that's what we're going to spend. And I'm going to work at it. And I printed off a picture of Christmas trees and presents. And I put it on my computer, like around the outside. I changed the screensaver of my phone to be like an image of, $500 for Christmas. And for me, every day when my feet hit the floor, I thought about how do I earn that $500 so that I can, number one, feel accomplished and check that off the box and have a sense of contribution to the family. But that was such a tangible thing I could do by inviting more. So when people would tell me no, I would think about that Christmas tree. Melanie, this is what you want. Like, do it. Just push through. And it was having that ability to 5-second roll, which is basically 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, send the invite, send the follow-up, just invite the person. Don't overthink it, just make the post because you feel like it really would help somebody today. And so I began to at this point of my business, say to myself, what are the tangible things that are going to change the game? And I believed in myself. So not only did I envision my future being better than the present, but I also believed I had the power to do so. And I'm looking at all of you right now, and I want you to know you're not any different than me or Rachel. We all started where you are at right now in this business. And we just believed that if we followed the steps that we were being led by the company, by our sponsors, that it would all happen. And we coupled that with just doing the actual work and just having the grit to say, building a business will always be a challenge, but it is so much better to build a business sitting on my recliner with Landon on one side, Bryce on the other, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and my laptop in the middle. And I can spend the 30 minutes while they're watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, sending invites, interacting with my challengers, doing my follow-ups, taking a post of all of us sitting together. I can be on this Zoom call with you right now, and my kids are playing in the living room, and I'm not working at Kohl's or Target or waitressing for a holiday job where I'm having to leave my family. Like, we get to choose our heart. And that was the kind of stuff that went through my mind when I was struggling at the beginning to get people's trust, to get people to respond to me. I was like, choose your hard, Melanie. Choose your hard. You can give up. You can go back to you were living a life. You were making ends meet, but you believe that there's more for you out there. And that was what kept replaying in my mind. And you know, my husband made it very difficult for me. If I had a 9 o'clock call, or if I needed to get some invites done, he did not watch the kids. You know, he would let them come into, you know, the spare bedroom where I was trying to work, you know, and he would be sitting on the couch. He could absolutely get them the snack, but he would go get mommy, go get, you know, he would intentionally interrupt me. And so guys, you know, if maybe you're in a situation right now where you feel like the cards are stacked against you, do not let that stop you. Don't let it stop you. It didn't stop me. And again, it was willpower. It was really a lot of like personal development in the pockets of time when we would drive to preschool, when we were going to the grocery store, we were driving to go visit my parents. I never listened to the radio anymore. I just started listening to, you know, personal development, YouTube videos, trainings, audiobooks that would give me the grit to know that this is what it's actually like to build a business, and that it is worth it, and that obstacles I'm being faced with are not a sign that I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. All right. So that, you know, that first couple of months, it was a challenge. I got a lot of objections, but I refused to stop. And I said to myself, okay, if I'm going to get recognized for Success Club, if I am going to earn an income from, you know, getting these challenge packs, then I'm going to do whatever I need to do in order to get there. And so for me, it was very much like I would wake up in the morning and I would make a list of all of the things that I needed to do for that day. And I would say to myself, okay, you know, I need to work out because I've got to be a product of the product. And every week I'm going to share my transformation update, progress update. So I better be getting results. And so that was a big part of the way I started my business, was very much on, look at me. This is what I am doing. It is working. Here is how I'm handling all of the roadblocks and the obstacles. I was really walking people through that story. So I was very much so committed to my own journey. And especially right now, where most people are starting to say, it's the holidays, and you know, people are kind of starting to check out. They're not sure if they want to commit. If you stay consistent, right? And which is exactly what I was doing. I was staying consistent because I wanted people to think of me come January 1st. So what are people going to get in the mail? They're going to get flyers for group exercise classes. They're going to get these like super discounted gym membership coupons in the mail, right? Everybody's going to start thinking about New Year's resolutions and how they can start getting back into shape for their health and fitness. And I wanted people to think of me. I wanted people to get that flyer in the mail and say, I don't care about this $10 a month gym membership. I'm going to sign up with Melanie because she's been consistent through the holidays. She's been working out. She actually has been sharing her transformation every week. She looks amazing. Like, I trust her. That's who I'm going to go with. So you right now, even though you might be like clawing your way to reaching your goals every month and barely just getting to your goals, if you can say to yourself right now, even though it's quiet, people are watching. Even though people aren't liking or commenting, they are taking it in, and maybe they're just not ready yet. But in January, the work I do now is what is going to help me get people in January. People that I have watched that go through this business and say, you know what? It's a quiet season, so I'm going to be quiet too, right? And people that kind of say nobody wants to buy, so I'll come back in January. That is the worst mindset that you can have, because you will, and I'm going to be honest, you will not have a strong January if you aren't doing the work now. And so I just want to challenge you to lean in and say, I believe in what I'm doing. right? I believe in what I'm doing so much that I will show up during the hard seasons because I know that this is what's going to help me in 2019 to just really propel my business forward. And that is what I did. So for example, I remember that my very first month in Success Club, I signed Matt up as a coach. My mom signed up as a customer, and a friend of my sister-in-law's became a discount coach. She signed up for the discount. So that was how I hit Success Club, my second month in the business, right? Then the third month, I believe that it was like some referrals. It was some people that have been watching me for 3 months that finally came back around. It was a lot of like offering people the discount and signing them up as coaches. And, it was just a lot of like clawing my way at the 11th hour on the last day of the month to get my points. All right. And I was consistent. When I tell you, I was posting 3 to 5 times. I was inviting, I was following up, but then all of a sudden, that really hard work that I was putting in for very little money, it just all of a sudden it kind of started to shift. And I was like, oh, okay, I got Success Club 10. And then I had people that were buying the refresh and that were, getting energized or were adding, and I was like, okay. And it started to like really catch momentum. And so that's what's going to happen with you guys too. But it's like, I don't know how to say it. Like I can't sugarcoat the hard work that really does go into the beginning to get people to build that trust. Another thing that I do and I still do is I will lean in to the season of where we're at. So a lot of times I'll look at my audience, I'll look at my market, I'll look at my niche, and I'll say, what are women struggling with right now? Okay, we are going into Halloween. We are about to be inundated with every kind of candy in the world. We are women. We are tempted by those little minis. And when it's that time of the month, we want to eat all of the chocolate, right? And so I know that people are kind of like, that's going to happen. So I'm going to offer the 3-day refresh, right? I'm going to do a 3-day refresh, like post Halloween candy detox. I'm going to be arming my social media with some strategies of what I'm doing to stay on track. I am going to do the 3-day refresh next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I know that by me sharing that, I can either get some people to commit to kind of like saying, okay, I've totally blown it over the Halloween sort of festivities. I need to get back on track. And I'll probably be able to get some people to buy a challenge pack with the refresh or just the refresh. And I look at every season, every holiday, everything that kind of goes on where I am at in this period of life as an opportunity to lean in and get people into my groups, even if it's just a 3-day refresh. Because I also know that if I do the refresh, people will not buy it right away, but they'll buy it after I do it. So by me leading by example and showing people, that's always kind of where my sales come from, is whatever I'm doing. Right? So also looking at November, I know that it's Thanksgiving, here in the US. I know we have people like Canada and UK, but in the US, right, we've got Thanksgiving. Everything's gratitude and thankfulness. And so I lean into that. I'm like, okay, I don't want to run just a challenge group. Let me think of something specific. So I'm going to do this 21 days of gratitude. So it's not just workouts. It's not just nutrition, but we're going to have a focus on gratitude. Every Monday, it'll be something different. It's a new way for me to market to people that need positivity in their life, right? So it'll catch people's attention. Then what I'll do is right after Thanksgiving, again, 3-day refresh, right? Because people will feast and feel plump and be ready for a little bit of a detox. And so I'll do the same thing, right? I'll do a 3-day refresh. And then I usually do like a holiday survival guide kind of group or, countdown to New Year's. Although honestly, I don't know about you guys, but my market, it could care less if they fit into a little black dress on New Year's Eve. We're hanging out at home with our kids, right, in our pajamas. So that wouldn't work for my market, but our younger market that doesn't have kids that goes out and parties, great. For me at this point in my life, it's like, let's just survive the holidays without, eating all of the sugar cookies and drinking all of the wine. Like, how do we still work out? How do we have some good principles of proper nutrition, stay accountable, and just not gain 10 pounds, and so that's my market. And so knowing, what your people need to hear based on all the objections you've gotten, right? That really helps. That was what I did. I was very observant as to what people were struggling with and just being mindful about creating things, content, groups around sort of where people were struggling at. Another thing that is super helpful as you guys are planning is we're going to have Black Friday. And for me, at this point, I was pushing to get to Diamond. I wanted to be Diamond so bad, right? That I was like willing to do whatever it took. And so Black Friday, I was like, okay, I'm going to make up my own Black Friday sale because everybody's shopping on Black Friday. And so even between now and then, you can say to yourself, I made like a little image where it was like, if you signed up as a coach with the challenge pack, you would get, and then like, for example, you could do like a $25 Amazon gift card because you'd be giving back some of your commission, or, you know, a personal development book, or, you know, a motivational tank, or like a little gift basket of like free things that maybe you've gotten or have been gifted, right? So I would just create like a Black Friday sale with like a limited quantity. I have 2 available or 3 available. And I would say it ends at midnight tonight. I would give people that sense of urgency. And then I would talk about, you know, why this is the best Black Friday sale ever. Why is now the best time to become a coach? And I would talk about like earning that $500 cash for Christmas. How different could your holiday be if you know, became a health and fitness coach, you stayed accountable to your own goals, and you earned a little extra holiday cash? And so I would create these little like promos on my own that I would put on my social media. And then I would also like private message all of the people that I knew wanted to join my challenge groups or I'd ever talked to about coaching before. I mean, I just was like, anything I can do, I would follow up and follow up and follow up. Another thing is, I know Small Business Saturday, I think, is that same weekend. So that's another one. You can pull out the coaching thing again. You can pull out another little like sale, and then you have Cyber Monday. And so for me, just like that leaning into whatever is going on in society is really smart, because every other network marketing company does that, right? We're not alone. You would see like a Roden and Fields consultant, they'll have a Black Friday sale. You know, if Beachbody doesn't give us something like that, we should create our own. And there are also times where Beachbody does give us promotions, and I say, but I'm still going to create my own too, because I have goals I'm trying to hit. So I'm going to make, you know, groups or sales or something based off of that. Right. So, you know, my mindset very early on was very strategic. It was not I'll just see where this goes. I would just set goals for myself, right? I would say, I want to be Diamond in 90 days. I want to earn X amount of money. And then I would work towards that. And I wasn't afraid to write it on a sticky note and put it on my laptop or put it on my bathroom mirror. And I had to teach myself how to be confident by just taking action and not being afraid of someone telling me no. Right. And so I know where you're at right now, and I know what a challenge it can be. And I don't ever downplay the fact that growing an online business with health and fitness is not hard. But it is the most rewarding job that you can ever have. Right. And I think back now, and I think if I wouldn't have had that grit, that determination to not only prove people wrong that thought I couldn't actually do it, you know, I think to myself, all these lives wouldn't have been impacted. You guys wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for my decision, right? Rachel wouldn't be on my team if I wouldn't have, you know, signed up. And I look at each of you, and I know that you might think, but I'm just a new coach, right? Or, you know, what impact do I really make? Guys, you really have some power, you know, and your following, if you have 100 followers or 300 followers, or maybe you do have a decent amount, it will grow. You will make an impact. Your story, whatever it may be, big or small, somebody needs to hear what your story is, and they need you to be vulnerable, because they're and that's what I think about. I always sit down and go, who needs me today? And who needs me to share something that's vulnerable, or who needs me to share a failure, or who needs me to show up and do the work even when it's a hard season, because I need to give them hope. Like, people need you and they relate to you. So don't ever downplay your ability to make an impact on somebody's life. And because you have the courage to show up, people will be changed because of your efforts. And I know that it's easy to say, but don't go there. Just don't go there with it, right? So, right now you have the world at your hands. Online businesses are growing by leaps and bounds. The ability to make an impact through social media is the way to go. And there is no need for you to go and do a job where you have to be out of the house, away from your loved ones and family members. Like, you can make this work. This can change your holiday season. This can change where your family is a year from now. And I want you to wholeheartedly believe in yourself. And if any kind of doubt creeps in, I want you to change it with a positive affirmation, and then look in the mirror at yourself and convict yourself that it is possible for you too. And that takes work. It takes a lot of work. And on my whiteboard right now, like right over here, is in big, ugly bubble letters, because I'm not crafty or artistic at all. It says, you choose. You choose. And every day I look at that, and it says, like last week, it was like, I choose to be productive. I choose to do work that matters. And every day I'll write on there, and my kids come in and my kids read it. They're like, oh, this is what you choose today, mommy. And so they see it, right? And so, do things for you that are little triggers that remind you, you choose the outcome, you choose your success. You choose whether or not you're going to lean in on October 27th until October 31st, and you are going to crush the goals you've set for yourself. There are times where I said, like on New Year's Eve, my first year as a coach, I was at SC9, I think, and it was 8:00 at night, and it was New Year's Eve, and I was like, okay, Melanie, what do you choose? Do you say, I'll just start 2012 off on a fresh foot, and I'll just let this one go? Like, it's only 1 month. It's not a big deal if I don't hit Success Club. I chose not to let that be the case. I was like, who do I know? All right, my cousin wants to buy Shakeology, but she hasn't yet. So I picked up the phone and I was like, Danielle, I have this goal, and I need one more person to sign up, and I will reach it. And I know it's 9:00 on New Year's Eve, but if you just give me your credit card, I will place your order that I know you want Shakeology anyways, and then I will give you my commission. And I was like, can you just do it right now so I can hit this goal? And she was like, yeah, sure. Here's my card. And she actually went in, I think she actually went in and bought it, but it was like a choice, right? It was a very simple choice to say, I'm just not going to not reach my goal. I will find a way. And that's sort of how I worked through my business. It was just a very simple, I can choose this way or I can choose that way. And just to keep choosing to do the things that maybe made me feel a little vulnerable and a little uncomfortable, that over time added up to the big successes and a lot of momentum that sort of followed in my business. And it'll be the same for you guys too. So questions that you guys have.
Come closer.
Oh, wait, I don't hear you, Rachel.
Okay, I am gonna unmute you guys because my Zoom is really weird, and it like won't let me see the chat bar or anything. So, like, I know some of you guys had questions for Melanie. Does anybody want to shoot? You want to be brave and talk? And if you need unmuted, you're just gonna have to like wave your hands or something because I can't make it work.
Really? You can't? That's so odd. I wonder what it is.
I don't know. Ever since I updated my Mac, it won't, like, it freezes and it doesn't give me the options at the bottom.
Huh.
I don't know. But like, does anybody have questions for Melanie? I was gonna say real quickly that, like, while you were talking about working hard like right now, and then it'll pay off in January. I went back and hold on, let me mute. I went back and I looked at my income from when I was a brand new coach, because I started in August. And I was making like, some weeks I would make $70, some weeks I would make no dollars, some weeks I would make 100, some it was like 30. But when January hit, like the first week, like that first 7 days, I made $400. But it was really like April and May when the money started to come in. And so like I probably don't say that enough, but like you have to work really hard in the beginning for very little, but it does happen. Like it pays off. And I know I see some of some people like on my team, on the bigger team, that are just like, oh, I'm working so hard, I'm not getting anywhere. People are saying no, but it's just that consistency, and like it's totally up in your business.
Yeah. And I always think about it this way. Like so many people get discouraged with the no, but just remember, it is not a no, not ever. It is a no, not right now. And if you remove the personal attachment to it, so let's just say like somebody tells you no, it's not that they're it's just maybe they already do a different workout program and it's working for them right now. Or maybe they don't have the money and so they don't want to tell you no, so they just ignore you, and it's not against you. And so I've just learned to say to myself, some will, some won't, so what, who's next, right? I got that from Megan, and I think about that all the time. Some will, some won't, so what, who's next? Move on, next invite, okay? And I always try to get a yes. I'm like, hey, if somebody doesn't respond back, I make it a game. So just flip the script on yourself. Instead of being negative and being doom and gloom, just be like, okay, this person's ignoring me. What can I say to them to at least get them to like acknowledge something? So I'll usually go back and say, hey, I never heard back from you, but no worries. Like now might not be a good time, but would you like me to follow up with you next month? I'm going to have another group coming. I can add you to the list. Right? Or if they don't respond back, then I'll just circle back around and be like, hey, just wanted to check back in. Like I'm getting ready to launch my next group. Here's the details. Would you be interested? Or I'll do like hey, I'm doing a 7-day free group on, clean eating and surviving the holidays. Do you want to be in that group? Like I'll just keep going until I can get a yes. Because if I can get a yes and get them into something, then I've won. And I just look at it as a challenge. So look at it that way for you guys too, is like make it just a challenge to get somebody to respond back versus, it's another no, just flip the script in your mind on yourself.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot to be said for, like, hey, she didn't give up on me, Like, if we just say no and keep going, then we are that salesperson. Like, we are that icky person. But if we're providing a service in other ways, that, like, pays off. All right, you guys. Melanie has to go. Do y'all have any questions? Can you unmute yourself? If you do, this is your chance.
Don't be shy.
I know.
Ask some questions.
Yep. She'll answer them. All right, you guys. Well, that's all we got then. Thank you so much, Melanie. I'll share this recording with everybody else, but I appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right, you guys, go crush it. Have a really strong end of the month and rest of the year, and I will see you guys later. Bye. Guys.